All right, we are here. Welcome to Refrigerated Diaries, keeping the people engaged with the food. Share your stories, videos, music, topics. Let people know what's on your diary. Hashtag what's your RD. And we have got Smokey G's Smokehouse in the house. How you doing, brother?
I'm blessed. I'm well. I'm well. So happy to be here.
Man,
Excited.
I'm happy that you're here. And, you were kind of going into this a little bit in terms of what Smokey G starts with here, and we were talking about the smells, going into the aroma, essence, ambiance here, and in our case, it started with a single malt Scotch whiskey here.
Yes. 15-year age single malt. Quality. We want to get that palate in tune of what we're tasting, and we enjoy what we taste here. We eat for quality, not quantity.
Yep. And you know what? If you're watching it with the video here, listening to us, we've got a beautiful spread here. Smokey G Smokehouse right on the wood panel grain here. And not to focus so much on the board, but as I'm taking this, we're about presentation here.
Absolutely.
Quality
Absolutely.
and what you represent. So how'd you get started into that path?
Well, I've always been a foodie. I always loved good quality food. My parents always took me to different types of restaurants, but barbecue is something all along that I loved. My father cooked it. My grandmother cooked it. My father's mother. So I really got bit by the bug when I went down to St. Louis for an engagement party, and I was just going down there to have fun. But I had a layover in Kansas City. Ended up taking an Uber in and around the city.
What time is this in your life right now?
I would say this is in my 20s. I'm 30. I'll be 39 at the end of the week, April 5th.
Okay.
Aries season, I guess.
Aries season.
Yeah. So in my 20s, I was a bouncer at a nightclub, and so one of my friends.
I've done it myself.
Yeah, in my former life. Yeah, and so I took a trip down to Kansas City. I'm sorry, St. Louis, and we went to. We had some gracious hosts, and they took us around. They asked us what we like to eat, and I was like, "Yeah, I like some barbecue. Heard you guys had pretty good barbecue here." They took us to this place, and before I could even see the building, I could smell the smell. I could see the smoke in the air.
Smoked meats is tantalizing. It's
Oh my God, it's nothing. There's nothing like it. We finally got to the place. It was no bigger than a Dairy Queen.
All right.
But outside of it was two huge oil tankers that they converted into smokers.
Oh wow.
And when I say the line was long to get in there, and you could just smell it, and I
And
walked.
the line was just for the meat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just to get in there, and like I said, the place was no bigger than your average Dairy Queen. It didn't have a sit down area because they had tables and benches outside.
Right.
But like I said, the oil tankers, had been converted into smokers, and it was bigger than the actual establishment itself. And they constantly had meat on there, from brisket, beef ribs, pork ribs, baby back, St. Louis, 3 different types of sausages, chicken. They just had so many variety. And what really got me was we went back to eat the food back at the house, and we were leaving the next day, and we actually were going to another dinner that night. They just took me there because they knew I love barbecue, and we ate as much as we could. The rest we just packed up and was like, you know what, I'm gonna save it for tomorrow. We ended up leaving the next day on an airplane coming back home here to Detroit, and when I got home and I opened up the box, I could still smell the smoke and the aroma as if I was standing outside that smoker, outside that restaurant, because the smoke was so embedded into that meat and the flavor was still there. And I said, that's what we need here in the city of Detroit. And ever since then, I've been on a mission to bring that here to the city of Detroit.
Man, I feel like I need to snap after that. Man. Like, what's up? So you experienced this, and this was in St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
Experienced this immaculate, we call it divine intervention of barbecue in St. Louis, and now we're on a mission to start Smokey G's. What was the first step in that?
You caught me mid-sentence. I started snacking on
Hey,
some of these snacks.
I'm gonna snack on some of these snacks here with you.
Absolutely.
Delightful,
Absolutely.
We eat here. That's what we do. That's why we're in business. We're in business to serve folks and for them to hopefully enjoy what we're serving them.
And that's truly my mission, is for everyone to who comes to support Smokey G's to eat like I eat. And I want them to be able to taste the things that I have not only cooked and provided, but taste them the way I taste them. I like to think I have a pretty good palate. I haven't gotten this big for nothing. So I enjoy what I cook as well as what I eat. So I want everyone to be able to enjoy it as well.
No, I'm all about that. So, like, you know, I remember my very first, like, I was like, I started cooking like I was 17. My very first job, I was in the cafeterias of my college dorm. I'll never forget, like, the first time I got promoted from doing pizzas to doing the grill. I was like, man, you know, this is awesome. You know, like, people were like, because I'm a shy kid. Like, naturally, I don't like to talk to people. But when I cook food, I get like, I get to, like, I can. There's like a common ground that I'm able to interact with people. You know, so like after you left St. Louis, you know, I imagine like what was the very first thing that you did? Did you like cook for somebody? Did you just like say, all right, I'm gonna do a pop up, or did you just say, I'm gonna get all the stuff and I'm gonna start making this food? I know I got it.
No, actually, I did my research. I
Okay.
did my research in the sense of, let me hit all the barbecue places that are here.
All right.
And this is not a diss or a slide. This is just from my own experience. I just went around to the barbecue places we have here in and around the city metro area, in Wayne County, Oakland County, Macomb County, even out to Washtenaw County, and tried the different would-be barbecue places, then places that claim to be smokehouses, see what they had going on. And what I found was a lot of them had these large smokers, propane smokers, automatic mechanical smokers. And there's nothing wrong with that. And to the average palate, you wouldn't know the difference. But that South real wood burning with the ambers, you're cooking with those ambers that are burning from the different types of wood, and knowing the wood you're smoking with, it's totally different. It's a totally different taste.
Because someone has to, like, you know, a machine can't do that. You know, someone has to be there, like, tending to the fire.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
It reminds me of the days of old.
Yeah, and it's that comes at a cost, of course, but a premium. But it is well worth it. That taste is irreplaceable, because you can pretty much get anyone to put loads of meat up into a machine and let the timer go, and that's it. But to truly watch after the meat as it's smoking, to make sure the fire and the temperature stays at a steady 225 up to 250 at times, it's okay, you know, to see that happen, to put that much, I guess, tender loving care, as I used to say.
There is a tender loving care. Like, I feel like you can taste it. Like, you know, like sometimes I'll go and I'll just go and eat fast food. Like, I'll go try it out, just like a bite, like of this and that, just to make sure I know what's happening with it. And then I'll go to like a Red Lobster, make sure the cheddar biscuits still taste the same. You know, like, you know, all these things just for that quality. You know, so like what would after you started doing your research and development, you started doing your R&D, then what was the first thing that you put out on your menu?
I went after, though. Well, let me say you this. I hooked up with a guy who was out of Chicago. Okay. And he knew all about ribs, rib tips, and hot sausages, because that's what he knew in Chicago. And he was very knowledgeable about smoking as well. And I learned a lot from him. From him. And so I wanted to expand the menu. I want to expand into brisket, pulled pork, even smoked turkeys, other things that more than just ribs and rib tips and other things like that. And so from that, I then started using different types of wood. I wanted more than just oak. I wanted more than a hardwood. I wanted to see what fruit wood does. I wanted to see what mesquite does versus apple, cherry, hickory. What's the outcome of those?
Most people don't know that it does have an effect, much like drinks. You know,
Definitely.
the type of wood used in the cask, it also definitely affects what you're going to be tasting at the end.
Absolutely. And so with that research, I and there's no diss to any current barbecue places. I appreciate all the barbecue places that are here in the city of Detroit and around. I've tried you all. It's some are delightful, some are, hey, thank you for being there, but we got to keep it moving. And I realized this is what is needed. And then because of technology, because of YouTube, I was then able to go on YouTube and able to research places in Florida, places in Texas, places in the Carolinas. My family, my mother's people are from Tennessee, so I'm very familiar with the Memphis style as well as Nashville. So the different types of barbecue around the country and what flavor profile they're looking for. And I've always been a sweet and savory type of guy. Mm-hmm. And so that's a flavor profile I always look for, something sweet and savory. So your salt and your sugar, those types of things that are hitting the palate the right way.
No, it sounds fantastic. So sweet and savory. That's something that I find that's in a lot of like the palates here and food. Even with us, like in the Afro-Caribbean sense, we do a lot of like pure pepper-based things. But I have found that sweet and savory, even paired with pepper, in our case, tends to play popular here. Mm-hmm. You know, do you do any types of dry rubs that are like using that same type of profile? Like, do you do like a dry rub brown sugar or something like that?
We do a brown rub, dry rub, and you gotta. Everybody knows this is your podcast, man. And I gotta tell you how much I love your food.
Oh man,
and I love eating there. And if I could, I'd eat there just about every day.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
And when I'm mad when when those days are closed, and I feel like a Tyrone Bigum's outside knocking on the door. So the food is always awesome, man. So like I said, we just pair the wood with the different meats and that dry rub that we have. Not too much sauce on there. We like to really let that wood get a nice char on the meat and get that good flavor. So
okay. So like one of the things that people don't really talk about a lot is just structures of the business models and the business plans. Like so in the city of Detroit, no matter what, you're still required to have a unit of operation where you go back to, you know, like this is your home, right? So
yeah.
Even if you have a food truck, you got to go back to your commissary kitchen. If you're catering, you still have to have some kitchen for commissary purposes, right? Mm-hmm. This being so different, no different with you, right? And so now, you know, you're at a point where you're transcending, you're building up the business operation, right? You know,
blessings.
Yeah. You're moving into a space, right?
Yes.
So, in terms of operation, what was the timeline it took from point of inception with the idea of building out the catering business to getting a bit coming to close on the space?
Oh man, I would have to say this is almost 4 years, 3-4 years in the making. It's no secret I started in the backyard with multiple smokers, even a small grill, which I converted into a smoker until I was able to save up enough money, friends and family. And even before, you know, I spent all of my money, people kept constantly asking me, hey, G, can you do me a brisket or can you do me some ribs? And I would just save money and finally purchase a smoker, a little bit larger. It was still a residential smoker, but it wasn't until I bought that commercial smoker that I was able to make that investment. It was a little bit too big for the typical backyard, but my neighbors didn't mind at the time because I had to bribe them with meats and other goodies. So they didn't mind smoking up the neighborhood. And even right here in the Midtown where I started, my neighbors, and I remember having to put a brisket on at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the Wayne State Police Department pulled up on me. We were like, we thought that couldn't be Slows because we're not by Slows, but I smell something burning, man. It's good. And I was hoping, you know, it wasn't no burglary. And I was like, hey, man, you want me to throw you some sausages on? How long is your shift? But, that's how I started out in the backyard. And eventually moved from there, started doing more shared kitchens when I started doing larger events, helping me out, learning the business until I was able to make that leap and that jump until now where I've actually found a home.
Right. You know, so and it doesn't happen overnight, man. You know, a lot of people, they get really confused about that, you know, but I think it's important, right? Like you come up with your business idea, you kind of test the market, make sure people like the food, do all of that things. And then as it makes sense, you make incremental investments, right? You double down, triple down, all of that, right?
Yeah,
you know?
total just great support from my friends and family. And there was a lot of times where I cooked for free. Mm-hmm. I cooked for free. And whether it was me not having the timing right and I had to bring the food a little tardy for the party. And but luckily, people were kind, okay? People were kind because they believed in me and supported me and continue to support me. So there was a lot of free food given out, with even people sampling my food and putting my food out there and letting the food speak for itself. That was another thing. That saved me a lot, too. And it also let me know that my food was pretty good, I guess, because people didn't mind after they ate it.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's always a good sign. Good sign of the product. So before we go to break here, if people want to get food from you, how do they do that?
Please visit our website at smokygsmokehouse.com. You can always give us a call, 313-693-2533. Also, we got the social media outlets going on at Smoky G Smokehouse, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not too savvy with Twitter, so please come and holler at me on the gram. I always try to get my likes up on the gram. And of course, I'm sorry for saying this. I didn't mean to transition like this. All right, rest in power to Nipsey Hussle. Sorry about that. Very sad moment, but had to just put it out there.
Yeah, robbed.
Yeah.
Robbed.
And inspiration, because definitely, and even as we talked before, want to do things in and around the community. And that's nothing brings people more together than good food, being outside, and having a good time. And so he definitely brought the community for different people to come out and support him. And he's inspirational. He'll truly be missed.
Yep, absolutely. Missed indeed. We've got founder and proprietor of Smoky G's Smokehouse, Gregory Sims, will be back here after this commercial break.
How's that so far?
Good, man. Good. How you feel?
Good. How's it going, Alex?
It's good. I didn't want to cough or clear my throat. I know the sound is
Man, Jarlsberg cheese is my favorite cheese on the planet. My dad would get these things, and then he would just sit here with Guinness beer and Coca-Cola, and they'd be like cutting it. And
What would you like?
one of the crackers.
Which one?
Two.
Is Tristan?
Yep.
I'm giving you this.
Thanks.
You wanted it.
how we sounding?
Sounds good. And I got
Sausage.
I got the mics on for the video right now. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, you know.
Behind the scenes?
Yeah, I like the behind the scenes. Yeah, that way, we get good dialogue. You can watch the video to catch it all.
And hear my geeky voice saying, "We got the behind the scenes." Asking you 1,000 questions.
Indeed. I thought you were gonna jump in.
I will. I don't want to interrupt the conversation. If you really want me to jump in, I will pipe up on the last half. I will say, looks beautiful. Okay, if you prompt me a question, I will break out the cupboard.
I don't know if I'm a question proper.
Am I talking too fast or anything?
No,
Or
you're doing great.
how's the pitch? Sounds all right. All right.
Are you okay with your headphones?
Yeah.
Very
Just come on, sounding.
The beautiful thing about podcast is nobody is listening for radio voices. They want to hear yourself and real people. So
Yeah.
you're doing great.
All right. Cool. Well, I'm so appreciative of being here, man. Honestly.
Dude, I'm appreciative of you coming, man. This is awesome. I'm gonna have another piece of this wonderful cheese.
And you just let me when you're ready to get back. And we'll get going.
All right, so I'm probably gonna go into like techniques, like talk a little bit about the process of cooking, propane and all that, no NOx. Kind of going a little bit about exactly why that matters, to you. We talk about staffing, training, how that goes into it. What the relationship is between you and farmer, you and purveyor now, as you're like involving yourself more in the process of effects of wood and things like that. We'll see where time is, and we'll start asking you about other stuff like how you do your
My
grocery
cheat meal.
shopping, things like that. I'll probably start off with that, like how you You know, what do you go grocery shopping for? Or where do you go grocery shopping at? That kind of thing.
It's kind of a fun sound effect. Fully.
Right. All right. Indeed.
Would it be better to do it on the iPad?
No.
Because I want to make sure I download the right thing to be able to watch the iPad. I mean, the podcast.
Am I in your way of the camera?
Nope,
Like, am
you're
I-
good.
No? Okay. No, it's fine. It's better so I can do like live video and send it to people.
You going live on the
Yeah.
gram? Okay. I'm still working on trying to figure out how to do that stuff.
Dude, this is it. Right there.
Emmett didn't call, did he?
He texted. He was trying to figure out the address.
Did you send it to him?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, we ready to come back? Thinking. Last couple bites.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Give me the nod and we'll get going.
All right. Are we good?
All right, we are coming back on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hashtag Refrigerator Diaries. Keeping the people engaged with the food. You tell us what's going on. Seriously, guys, we've been getting some requests for music files, things like that. What we need is all the rights. So you shoot us your rights, and then we'll play the music. We can work out however that goes. So, Gregory Sims, Smokey G's Smokehouse, in the house here at Refrigerator Diaries. How you doing?
I'm well.
We appreciate you coming on the show here, brother.
I appreciate you having me.
So, for those of you that missed it here, we're breaking down some of the ins and outs of what makes a good barbecue a good barbecue. And I don't want to like jump the gun here, but it sounds to me like you're trying to put a stamp on Detroit barbecue.
I am. I'm trying to raise that bar up, and no diss, no slight to the barbecue places that are currently out there. I appreciate you guys. I grew up on a lot of you guys out there, and I just want to bring and raise that bar as the city is coming back, the city of Detroit, the emergence of the new Detroit, as they used to say, as they're saying now. I want to be a part of that and bring the people that are coming from out of town here, give them a true Detroit barbecue taste and flavor.
And that comes from the incorporation of different types of woods.
Absolutely.
And not using propane inside your smoke process.
Right. Anybody can do that. And I recommend, if you're a weekend warrior and you want to do that at home, sure, do that. But if you want that true, authentic smoke barbecue taste, come to Smokey G's. Give us a call. We deliver. We're a web-based catering company, which has recently found a home. And we still deliver. We still like to offer our services to the various businesses that are moving here to the city of Detroit. We cater lunches. And that's another thing. Most people, of course, when they think of barbecue, they automatically think of ribs. But I want to be there with the growing businesses in Detroit, those different businesses that are moving here, because the good guy Dan Gilbert is getting all these new businesses to come here to Detroit, and they're working so diligently and hard and don't have that much time for lunch, so we can deliver. And I know you can't eat ribs 4 days a week, so that's why we have smoked turkey, smoked chicken, smoked salmon, smoked portobello mushrooms.
You know, I was going to ask. I'm a vegetarian, but as the
Yes.
summer's getting nicer outside, I sometimes miss a lot of that barbecue food. And I know that jackfruit is on the rise of
Yes.
the vegetarian
Yes.
barbecue replacement. Didn't know if you had that.
Yes. I recently have been familiarized myself with jackfruit, how to crack it open, how to get that good stuff out of there. And we want to smoke everything. We want to be a true, authentic smokehouse and not just a barbecue place. So, yes, we're not going to leave out the vegetarians or the vegans. We smoke portobello mushrooms. We smoke sweet potatoes, those different products that vegetarians want. And they can call us and we'll deliver it to them.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. So, one of the things that I've been like coming across is just staffing issues, right? And like
Yes.
you're already like turning the wheel just a bit much with the authentic cooking process. Like, how's that working with the staff?
It's difficult. It's difficult, but luckily I got a good team with me who I've been able to train, and they've been able to mimic my methods. And as far as staffing, we do a lot of different vending in and around the city. We do pop-ups, things like that. So that staff that's more so in the front of the house, we train them up. Normally train them on location, on site. Excuse me. I always tell them, this is my slogan. I may get ridiculed for this, but I always say, we're not curing cancer and we're not digging ditches. So we're not doing anything strenuous on the mind, and we're not doing anything strenuous on the back. We're here to make sure people are having a good time, eat good food. Okay, so the job is not that hard. So please don't make it that hard. Okay, so with the staffing, they more so are trained on location. So if you guys need a job, especially for the summertime, we have flexible hours. Give us a call. We'll look to see. We always want to employ the people here in the city of Detroit.
I like that shout out call. So we got summertime coming up here. The grill gets hotter when it gets hot outside. The sun brings the coals out, right?
Yeah.
Or in your case, the sun brings the wood out.
Yes.
What kind of things do you do in the summertime to get prepped up? Do you just focus on the cooking? Like, do you see your day changing now that you have a home?
Well, definitely more. We always have been focused on the weekend, leading up to the weekend, because even as the catering jobs that we do at different office buildings, they normally have those meetings or be able to order out to lunch that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and leading into summertime or even the weekend when you have those family reunions, those class reunions, different larger events, company events that's held on Saturdays. We always end up cooking towards the end of the week. And, of course, Sunday dinners. People love Sunday as we're rolling into the summertime. The sun is out longer, so you can stay out a little bit later. And then even rolling into the fall when football season. So we do a lot of tailgating, and people enjoy that as well.
Awesome. So where do you go shopping at, man? Where you get your food at?
Good old Eastern Market down here. It's
Okay.
a whole plethora of different places to go, and you can shop and kind of negotiate. I'm getting my brisket over here for this. What can you do for me? This guy will give me my pork butts for this amount per pound. What can you get for me? So right here in the Eastern Market, various places, I make sure they have a bidding war to see who's going to get my business.
Okay.
I would give him a shout out, but a little mad at him right now.
Hey.
But the quality places here in the Eastern Market, we got great butchers down here at the Eastern Market where I can get just about anything. And they have even opened up my menu to rattlesnake. Now, it's not permanently on the menu, but I have been able to order rattlesnake as well as alligator and a few other items. So,
Oh, wow. You can get alligator?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Gator bites.
Yeah.
Really, really. So, and what I meant was like this is for your home too, your household.
Oh, where do I shop at from my house?
Yeah.
Costco,
Okay.
Sam's Club. Where are we at? Nino Savaggio's as well. Yeah.
Where's Nino's at?
Nino Savaggio, they're normally on the east side. They just recently brought one to Bloomfield on 15 and Telegraph.
Okay. And then you prepackage your meals out for the week, or you do them?
If I'm on my A game, yes, I can do a great meal prep and make sure everyone's fed in the household, cook a large meal. But if I'm off my game, no, it's kind of get it how you live.
Okay, you eat what you kill.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Like we had a catering order for 20 slabs. Okay, well, let's put 21 slabs on the grill.
Okay. All right. I can get down with that. We get this the seafood. I just kind of eat fish every morning. That's it. Kind of like float through it. All right. So you kind of keep it consistent then overall. What do you see yourself like in terms of the future of where you're going to be taking Smokey G's, like you think you're going to be eventually doing a sit down? You're going to focus on doing the catering?
Well, catering is always going to be the base. That's going to be our staple. But the next thing is definitely a food truck. And I know food trucks are really big right now. You, of course, had a food truck, and you transitioned into that restaurant. But in my area, in my defense, I guess you want to say, I can't have a smoker on my food truck and try to smoke on it for 8 hours for a pork butt, or my brisket that takes 12 to 16 hours stand there smoking on the food truck. So what I'd rather do is have my establishment where I already have my large smoker and load up the food truck with warmers, chafers, things like that, and be able to go to the different locations and be able to serve. And again, those jobs that are out there where they only got a 30-minute lunch break, it's not advantageous for me to try to cook out there, whereas more prepared meals that are there. So the brisket is already sliced up and panned up. The ribs are already cut. So when they go to order off the food truck, they can say, hey, I want a rib dinner, 2 bones. The sides are in the chafers, ready to go, and you're really getting those meals out quickly. And I really won't have time to truly cook on that food truck because of the way we cook. It takes a while for the food to get cooked. So they should be in the warmers, and when we show up for that lunchtime crowd, they're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. So there's been a lot of overall just development in restaurants downtown. I think a statistic was back in 2015, there were 205 new restaurants within a 15-mile radius of the point of origin. And over the past few years, that number has since increased along with the footstep right now. I can't even keep track of the amount of just new business that has been generated, and more so than ever, we're going to get prepared for what's inevitably coming. But I say this with the census 2020 being at the forefront. Do you think that this influx in new business is warranted for results that we haven't been forthcoming in previous census, or do you think that the people are here? You think that people will come? I know you mentioned the suburb business and people coming into Detroit for that. What's your take on all of this?
Well, with the city, of course, booming, and that Hudson site, I think the completion of that should be in 2022, something along the line of that, and just the dense areas of people in the city of Detroit. The people are definitely coming. The people are there partly, and you should know this as much as I do. We both was at Wayne State at the same time, and we saw the change right here in Midtown, which was unbelievable crazy. This is crazy. Even where we're currently at, and we're currently doing this podcast. Had you been here in 04, 05, we would not be able to be I think my car door is still unlocked right now. That's how comfortable we are right now. But in 04, 05, no way. I would have had the club on my car and everything. But having said that,
all of it.
The change in Detroit is ready. It's at a boiling point of ready for this new metropolitan city. The feel of Chicago, the feel of DC, New York. So you mentioned the turnover in these restaurants, and I've read that before. I believe Bill Picard said that these places will turn over 2-3 times until it truly has an anchor in there. And honestly, Detroit needs that because our taste buds have been dumbed down, and this is a diss. Apologies, because I'm a very good friend of a few Coney Island owners. Our taste buds have been dumbed down to the Coney Island, and we're not used to that quality food. But the thing is, the more restaurants are out there, the better competition. I haven't tasted anywhere that has your food. And that's why I keep coming back to you. Not just because you're my mans.
I appreciate that.
But seriously, when I taste your food, to taste that flavor, I know what I'm getting. Okay? So either you can put up or shut up, in so many words.
Competition is fierce out here.
Yeah, the competition needs to be there. I mean, when I visit my sister, and she just recently last year moved to the Bay Area, there's so many different restaurants. When my cousin lived in New York, there's so many little hole in the walls restaurants that were so good and quality. and then the space in there were small, but the quality of the food was so good. I'm like, is that restaurant still there? Yeah, it is. And they're looking for it because the quality of food is there and people will constantly go back there. But you got to show out. A lot of these places that are here now are here because it's like, yeah, great booming city. It's new. And people want something new and they're going to be hot now. But if you don't have that staying power or that quality taste and flavor that separates yourself from people, no, you're going to fall by the wayside because there's something new popping up in 6 months, you know?
Yep, in and out, baby.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So
that's fantastic. Well, I have to say, it's been truly a pleasure having you on the show here. I've enjoyed talking with you. I've enjoyed everything that I've watched you come along this journey and do, and I'm excited to just be able to have access to your food on a continued basis here. So are you going to do the delivery thing like through Uber or like
absolutely. Like I said, our base is still that catering. That's the main thing. I just needed this operation, a true kitchen to truly be able to operate, and that'd be the central hub. But catering is our main bread and butter. And with the emergence of Grubhub, Uber Eats, and the location is actually away from the downtown city location, but it's right off 75, so it's accessible to get downtown. It's accessible to get to 696 to hit the suburbs, to go east or west on 696. So I love the location that we found, and it's very accessible to the people, and they'll be able to come there once we're open and get things going. I'll walk up and get it. Or, like I said, you can order online. We can still deliver. And we're there by that conveniency, too. We'll be there for conveniency.
Right. Made from scratch, right in front of you. True process, no propane.
Right.
None of that.
No lighter fluid.
No lighter fluid.
Okay. Don't be lighting all them damn coals and you tasting that lighter fluid. Unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of you guys don't even know that you're eating lighter fluid off of a grill. And you're thinking, oh, that's just that barbecue taste. We don't know no better.
No, absolutely, and even on the higher end tip here too, it's SmokeyGSmokehouse@gmail. They'll be able to shoot the resumes over to you.
Absolutely,
like that for sure. Yeah, I know how it is. So, if we want to get Smokey G Smokehouse, what do we do?
We go online. We look up SmokeyGSmokehouse.com. If you feel brash enough, go give that number a call. Good old Greg answer the phone. I'll talk to you. Somebody answer the phone. But visit us on social media, absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned high end. We want to cover that whole spectrum, okay? We want to cover if you were having a backyard barbecue all the way up until if you're having a high society backyard barbecue. You see the spread we had out here, the smoked sausages. Normally we'll have a smoked Gouda cheese. It's all about the wood. That's why we have this wooden board here, the different types of wood. And like I said, those meals that are not your traditional barbecue, and I think you mentioned that earlier about what's your barbecue. Some people may think it's just hamburgers and hot dogs. Well, other clientele, this newer Detroit, might say, oh, I want some smoked oysters or I want some smoked salmon. And that's the type of barbecue they have. And that's the type of barbecue I can provide and will want to provide for them. So give us a call.
And just for clarity, you also do the wild game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about, my man. All right, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. We appreciate you very much. You want to hear it, again, we'll see you on the refrigeratordiaries.com. Can't wait. We'll also be doing everything we can to support the good brother Greg here as he gets Smokey G Smokehouse off the ground. All right. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Sweet.
My man.
My brother.